Don back. Okay, so back with another stream tonight. Okay, I'm going to go back to work on the IBM finally. Got it all set up over there. Try to see if I can straighten it out, and if not, then get it working right. Then I'll go to that 2.8 gigahertz gateway in the garage that I haven't shown yet. I've shown it in another video a long time ago, but and install Fedora 28 server on it. But yeah, the IBM is my web server. It's got Fedora 23's web server on it, and hopefully I'll quit draining. I took another pill, and I was still it made me cough even worse at the beginning. It makes it worse before it makes it better. I got a cough drop in my mouth too. Okay, so let's see. Nothing. Look around the desktop. I don't think there's actually anything else on here to do. Yeah, let's close this. And I was wondering. Oh, yeah, I thought the system, once for a minute there, it was running really slow before I got started. It was doing its lucky backup. See, I noticed it, that lucky back, when you search for lucky or lucky backup, you'll see it, SH is what you'll see before it runs, but after it runs, it goes away because I guess it shuts down the script. I think it's a script, so I guess it's finished running. I guess it's running and counting the time until 20 minutes after boot, and then it runs, does its work, and then shuts itself down. So, let's get to. I have the USB endoscope too hooked up, but I won't be using it right now. That's my CVU paste. When I put that back together, I need to remember to put that on there. Right now, let's just go cam stream 2 and switch over to the wireless mic. Hello, check. Okay.
Hello, check. I had to. Can't see them, but I have to page way up and down to see them. Okay, everything cool? Looks like it. Okay, so now, let me check my sound over there on my preview. I've got it over there, but kind of shoved back out of the way so that I can. Seems okay. I'll let it play for a while.
Got it over there, but kind of shoved back out.
Yeah, I'll let it play while I'm working so that I can keep looking up and make sure everything's okay. And I still have the, well, here's the old fan, and the screws and its fan guard. What I did was, since I didn't find, I have this one that I tried out, and I just really couldn't see a good way to mount it. The only way I could really mount it, it's so much bigger, is without doing some custom work of some sort, bracket work, is to zip tie it on there, maybe. The thing is, it's that piece of paper out of the way. If I were going to try, I tried putting, I didn't look again for any more screws. Let's see. I would actually want that side down so that this would keep it from, the fan blades hitting that. Well, let's say I did that with one screw. I tried that already, and with what I could find in here that wasn't the right thread, and it just enough to kind of get tight. But anyway, really, it's not much good. Maybe, I don't know, I guess at least that one screw would keep it from going like that. But I'd really need to find another screw and then zip tie it on here. But if you're just going to zip tie it on here, you probably just, the thing is, if you're going to, you don't really want to run one across there, I don't think, because when you tighten it down, it's going to squeeze that and make the fan probably hit the, well, it can squeeze quite a bit. Maybe you could. If you're going to do something like this with the zip ties, you're probably better off using 4 zip ties and going through the bottom corners, or at least 3 of them. But then that kind of, well, if you could do, maybe you could do it like that. Go around like that, hit that one and go around like that. Well, that one wouldn't hit anything, so you're still back to putting one in the middle. Can't put one this way because that's the side that has to go over the processor. So it's really just not, a lose-lose situation, as everybody like to say, win-win, lose-lose. Everybody likes to say win-win, but really there's a lot of lose-loses too, isn't there? So anyway, it's the only fan that I had that was 3-pin that seemed like it wouldn't make noise. I had 1 or 2 more that would run, but they made noise. This one that belongs in it, I went ahead and sprayed Rust Buster in there out in the garage. That stuff stinks. I did it the other day. And then I got to thinking, I was leaving it like that. Then I put it on the paper towel because I wanted to clean it up to bring it in here. I brought it in here, it stunk, I took it back outside. So anyway, I decided, you know, that Rust Buster setting on this inside of this fan, it could warp the plastic. It's pretty strong stuff. Some plastics, it will warp it. Or it could make the glue let go to the motor inside of there. So I decided I turned it back like that and let it drain. It's been on there for several days now. I didn't plan on it being that long, but it turned out that way. These little pins, let me switch to the double view now, I guess. Cam 2 and endoscope. Let's do that for now. And I'll put the endoscope up here somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it right now, but I guess this is good enough for right now. But if you look at the, there's a little plastic keeper in there, and it spins when the blade spins. And I've took them off and put them back on without breaking them, but the last time I tried on a smaller fan like this, it did break it. So I had no way to keep the fan from just coming out. So that's why I didn't take it apart. Because if you take it, sometimes you can take them apart, clean the shaft, clean the hole that the shaft goes through really well, and they'll spin as good as new and not make noise for a pretty long time again, you know. But you never know. It's real hit and miss. I've done quite a few of the fans I have. And so I just thought, well, I know WD-40 doesn't stay in there long. It evaporates. And it's not as near as good as a cleaner or a detoxer as, you know, like what I'm talking about. Rust Buster, of course, is for breaking up rust. And it's not really rust in there probably, but it's more just, really, these are going to be I don't even think they're even brass bushings. I think they're copper bushings they put in there. And so it's just where the steel, and the shaft is steel. So when the shaft rubs, you know, some of that copper off onto itself, it starts dragging. And dirt and stuff gets in there too. There is a white, oh, it's outside, I didn't bring it in. There's a white sticker that goes over that to help keep the dirt out, which I like to put back as long as they're not, you know, they'll still stick. And so anyway, I thought this time I'm just going to put Rust Buster on it, let it set a while, and see if it'll do enough good. This spins real good, but it does make pretty heck of a noise when it's in the machine. So you switch back to the bigger, so that it'll be a bigger view for, where's it at? There we go. Okay. Laptop is already working hard. I'm using the little touchpad to try. I thought I'd turn on the sound for a second and then pause that preview, because it's just gonna. Well, for one thing, it's irritating. I can really hear it standing over here by it. This one has a button, which is pretty good, but sometimes it doesn't want to let go. There we go. It's actually pretty good because it locks pretty good and it stays steady, and you don't have to mess with screws and everything. Okay, so what I thought I would do is put this on here again. I'll just set the heat sink on there like I've been doing to keep it from getting overheating really fast, so that I can turn it on for a little bit. And I'll plug it in over here to this fan header if I can find it again. Yeah, there it is. Just like I did last time to test it. This is for a case fan really, but it's a 3-pin just like the one for the CPU. The CPU one is real hard to get to. And then of course when I plug it in, if I put it back, or whatever I put back in there, I'll use the right plug. So let me see if I would be able to show my work here. Try it. I'm not sure. I won't know until I flip over there. Sometimes I just leave it like that while I'm working, but sometimes it's not so good. I don't have any light on that. See if that'll help. I don't know that it does. It's so far away. I can bring it in closer, but then you won't see the area. But that's the plug that I'm using. And I was thinking if I put it some other way. There we go. I don't know if this is going to work out like I hoped, but we'll try it. Yeah, there's the fan. Whoops. I'll just kind of do it like that for now. Okay, forgot to get out my power cord. I've got one that I can use here. I think I can get it with my stick. Half the time, most of the time it doesn't want to stay. I roll up the end of it, you know, leave it plugged in and just kind of roll it up and tuck it in itself. And most of the time it unwinds, but this time it didn't. So I could barely get to it, but I got it. Okay, now, because I don't need to monitor or anything just to test the fan. So I'll just plug it in. And if it doesn't turn on automatically, then I'll turn it on. See that it has power. It takes a little bit to turn on after you plug it in, so I'll wait. I think it just came on, yeah. Okay. It's spinning. Best I can tell, it's just as loud as it was. Yeah, it's just rattling like crazy. If I stick it up against the case like I just did, then it makes it amplify that rattling. I don't think it's going to be any quieter. It doesn't. I mean, of course, yeah, it's. You can hear it. Okay, I'm just sitting there like that. Let me see if I can put my mic down there, my little lapel mic. I'll put it up against the case. Really amplifies it, doesn't it? Or should. So yeah, that's not a bit different than it was. And the other one, now let's turn this thing off. It gets hot pretty quick. It's already beginning to warm up. So that one's not really going to be one I can use. And this one, you test it one more time. When I tested it before, it seemed pretty quiet in comparison. You could hear it, but it's either this or get that other machine to set it up as a. Come on. I don't guess I have the camera. Well, yeah, I did have the camera in the right place. Well, I could have had to look way behind my shoulder to see, so it wouldn't have helped me. Okay, now we'll turn this one on. Has a little light on it. There must be a speed governor. I finally remembered 2 pins is, you know, fan on and off. And I think generally a 2-pin fan will just always run. 3 pins is speed control. And 4 pins is temperature sent back to the machine in the BIOS. Or speed, no, not temperature, speed sent back information. Okay, now I hear this one a lot more than I did. It's not spinning good. It quit spinning when I picked it up. Huh. I don't know. It's absolutely quit spinning. Didn't do that before. Let me plug it into where it would normally be plugged in. This one may not be an option either. I don't know if I can aim that over in that direction or not. I guess I can if I work at it. There it is. Now let's take it closer, because I can take it down. I guess that's about as close as I can get, and still, I wonder if putting some light on that subject would help. Yeah, I think that actually helps. Okay, so yeah, right up in here. Now see, for this one to even fit in there, I would have to move the hard drive and do a lot of, I don't know what all I'd have to do because it's a lot thicker than the other one. Besides bigger, you know, in diameter or whatever, square. Okay, I think I got it in there. That light's helping. Okay, so now I'm just going to set this on there again. Ran into the camera, didn't I? Okay, now this one, I'm going to set it down in the case again like I did, because that's a real good way to tell how loud they are. That's spinning okay. I hear it. It sounds like it's underpowered. And I know that the fan that's in there is a 12-volt fan. But it's spinning, and it's got this little light. But it's making noise too. And it sounds, I thought it looked like it wasn't going, yeah, it is going, especially with the light, you can kind of tell. It's going slow enough that you can start seeing the blades. It'll slow down sometimes, you can see the blades. So, I'll show you what it sounds like. I put it up against the case. Move it out away from the case. Have to get my fingers in it. Hear it? It's not going to be any better. Oh, blew off the mic, sorry. Always don't like having dust on stuff. Habit. Okay, I think it's really loud. I've heard it when I did it before in previous videos. So, let's turn it off. That doesn't seem like a good option either. Okay, so I think, and this hard drive was making noise too. So let's get off of the close-up now altogether. I don't know that I'll need it right now. It was making noise too. I mean, I don't see how. Never seen it happen before, but that doesn't mean it can happen. But it seems like they both seem like they're going really slow, as if the system's not giving them enough power. And it could be the regulation because it's not hot. Maybe that's all it is. But this is going so slow. Well, it stopped on that on the regular case fan deal. It was just sitting there buzzing, trying to go and not going. So it could be that it's just pretty well worn out, and it, you know, needs more current than's normally given to it by this machine. It could be a lot of things, I guess. Let's unplug this. Now I'm debating, should I put that other... Yeah, there's no point in replacing that fan with that one now. No point whatsoever. So now what I'm thinking is, should I just go put this back together like it belongs? Let me move this. Put it back together like it belongs, and I think I'll set this in there. So you got to make sure, you know, when I put it together, Maybe that will be helpful. Yeah, so it won't be set. This thing I've been at once already. I actually figured out what this is. It's such a down low where it can be seen. It's my preview is so far behind. I don't know what's going on there. This thing is it directs air on these capacitors here. That's what it does. So it only wants, you only want to put it on there one way. I realized it when I got to looking at it, everything. So anyway, I don't want to bend it up or mess it up again. So maybe that'll. So if I put it back on there, let's see. Oddly enough, I think it really does go like that. I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, it does, because it won't even, no, it will too go on there. Okay. And it had the fan shroud on it. I didn't think to pay attention to which way it had originally been on there. I don't think push or pull really matters if it pushes air through it or pulls it, you know. I mean, I don't know. Well, if you're trying to cool the capacitors, I guess you would really want to be pushing. I don't know which way it goes. I guess I'd have to, unless there's an error on it. Some of them have an error on them. Get my magnifying glass and look. That'd be a lot. I mean, I can plug it back in and try to feel of it. It moves so slow, you can hardly tell. I guess I'll do that because I think it should blow that way to blow. Well, that blows hot air on the. Then again, do you want to blow hot air on the capacitors or suck cooler air across them? There you go. Okay, so, but this is what makes me think it meant to blow. It could be just the opposite. Well, I think I'll just go with what. I think I will go get that sticker. It's in the garage. I think it would stay on there. They fit tight. It fits tighter like that, with the unprotected side up. That side, the holes are very large. Let's see. And that, oh, okay. That cable should probably be like that. Okay. I think it's, yeah, it's square, so it can go whichever way you want. Yeah, and then it's right there by the plug that it goes into. Okay. So that sticker, I'd have to get it before I put it together. Well, I'm thinking I'll go out there and get that other machine and bring it in. That goes like that. Oh, that doesn't seem like that's very good. Oh. Huh. It can only go one way. Is it gonna be sitting there on the... If I do it that way, is it touching it? Let's do it like this and see. No, I guess that's how it goes. And that actually is just enough clearance. They're kind of bent, just a little. Just enough clearance to keep that blade from getting hit. So I think that is how it goes. It fits that way the best. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is put it together. And I'm thinking what I'm going to end up doing though is using that other machine. But I might need to turn. I'll need to turn it on to copy my stuff off my hard drive and stuff. It still runs. It's just making lots of noise, hard drive and fan. So that's what I'll do. So I need to go get that sticker. I guess I'll grab that machine and that other sticker. And I can't carry a computer and carry and all that at once. So I guess I'm gonna have to. Don't have another. Let's see. Well, I could. Well, I got to either. I could grab either camera and carry it with me, but the problem is carrying all that at once. So guess I'll go grab it. And I'm trying to think what I want to leave this on while I'm gone. I can be talking, but I can't be showing. So I guess I'll just leave it right there. And come back. It won't take long. I'll run out there and grab it. Well, I'm in the garage. You might be able to hear the fan. Let's see. Sticker is where? Oh, there it is. I have a little 12-volt TV out here and it's stuck to it. Okay. I'm gonna figure out where to put things as I have this computer ready to grab and take in there. So I'll put the sticker on it. Oh, none of these things are all that light. Now, I like to just go ahead and grab a camera when I'm doing this, but it really wasn't. Last time I came out here, I had to server, everything is on for the backup server. Anyway, I had to make 2 trips, so no point in that. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna set this down somewhere. I don't actually have to put that fan back on there. Well, I'll do it while that's on the table. Guess I'll have to set this on the ground for now. Get my sticker. Oh, it's stuck on there good. I stuck it to the plastic because it seemed the cleanest. So here's my beautiful sticker that I was rescuing. Try to get close and you can't. I don't know where I can't. My preview is so far behind. I should have took that off the camera while I was gone and let the machine rest a little bit from showing that. Now, let's go to the desktop for a second. It'll stop that stream for a minute and the machine, I guess, can delete all of its back cache and see how the machine's doing. It seems to be doing okay. Oddly enough, that 8-core AMD with 8 gig of RAM can't run the camera, this same exact Cam2 stream for 5-10 minutes without the whole program locking up. It may be that I'm gonna need to look all that up. It may not be that my particular setup. It could be just that OBS doesn't work good with AMD processors or something. I think about it once in a while about that possibility and then forget. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there just like that. I'm looking at how it will be on there. Okay, and this, of course, and the screws. Let's see, what screwdriver did I decide was best for that? I think I ended up finding one in my kit. Let's see if one of these, this one will do it. Whoops, not that one. This one. This one here will do it, then it's not, I can't get it to pick up. There we go. There's the screw I had put in the one corner. I don't need that over there anymore. I'm not going to use it. Put it back in the box of screws where I had it. And let's see if this one will turn those okay. I think so. Seems okay. really a pretty good little setup. It's got good parts, you know. Seems to me to be designed just perfect just for this machine. Yeah, I'm not getting a good bite on these screws though. They got a smaller. Let's try one of these. I generally don't care for these too much. I only use this really small ones when I don't have anything else that'll work. But this one right here sometimes, well, you can't, they're too narrow. The handles are so small you can't get any torque on them. See, I can't even budge those screws with that. But I guess that means they're tighter than I thought they were. So I don't think I need to worry about them. Okay, now if that works okay, then we'll be good. You know, going off of that and back, my previous caught back up again. So, yeah, I should have just went to the desktop. I started to start playing a video or something, but I thought, well, it'll take me forever to find one or all that. Okay, so if I guess I'll go ahead and put my heatsink paste on there because I don't want to. It's hard to plug in. I don't want to plug it in and unplug. I was thinking about testing it, but I know it works. Well, I do want to know if it's going to drag or anything, make noise. Let's set it. Well, I can plug it in over here, I guess. Is it going to be any easier to plug in over here? I can't really set it down that way. Let's just put it on. If it acts up, then I didn't want to have this goop on it if it was going to be making noise. Yeah, you better check it, Dawn. Check it. Okay, it's not that hard to unplug and unplug it. So I'll plug it in, turn it on once, and make sure it's not dragging or anything. Because if I get heatsink paste all over it, then it's a real pain to mess with anymore. There. Okay. That wasn't so hard after all now, was it? Now I think it's going to just come on its own. There we go. And it ran real fast for a second and then slowed down. Yeah, I can hear it. Can't actually see it. Let's use our tools. These are video tools here. I'll just get the cam set up. This has got a light on it. Can we see it with that? Let's do it this way. Is it spinning? Yeah, it's spinning. So there's no, it's not hitting anything really bad or anything. So yeah, down in there is where the plug is, right there. Right now it's not really so loud. It's quieter than it was when it first started up. So, there's where our CPU cooler is. So let's turn it off before it gets too hot to touch. Okay. And I don't have to unplug it, do I? Yay. All I need to do is put some paste on there and set it back on there and screw it down. It actually screws down. Okay, this thing has a little cap on it. I looked at the processor the other day, I forgot. It's a 2.5 gigahertz Celeron is what it is. I never did see all the numbers. I don't think I could see them, but I guess I could have tried to show them just now, but it should be plenty. Yeah, it looks like it. Which finger do I want to get dirty? I guess the one that I can reach. I can get over there and work with. That's all that matters. The way that everything is, the left hand is going to do it. I used to be able to work just about as well. I could write with my left hand. I can kind of still do it, but I used to be right just about as well with my left hand as my right. But I hardly ever did it, you know. So finally, well, I've lost a lot of my coordination. my old age and my health, bad health. So it's not near as good as the left, and the left is not very good. I don't write very well anymore. Period. Okay, let's see. Are we on there? Kind of wiggle it around, make sure it kind of seats. I'm doing that to make sure it's flat on there more than anything. I mean, you can't turn it enough to smear it anymore. One of the reasons I do that is to kind of smear the paste more, but really I had more than I needed, and it covered perfect. It's going to be a lot squeezed out, I'm sure. But it'll be all right. Better to have a little too much than not enough, because then if they don't have enough, then they could overheat, or if they heat up too much, and then maybe the paste even dries out prematurely, and then you've got a machine that's going to shut down over thermal overload. Okay, now let's see if we can get these little things on there. They little butterflies that flip up, and then you screw them down. Oh yeah, they're really hard to turn. And they have, this is how I got it off. I have it too close for you to really see what it is I'm doing. I just want to show, I could show at least one of them. Oh, that's the wrong side, okay. There, now you can see it. Yeah, I can either pick one side or the other, it looks like. So there's this butterfly screw. And I have a hex driver set, nut driver set, what people usually call them. And one of these, can't remember which one now, fits it just right. And I got a little ratchet screwdriver that I can put it in. If I can get it out of the case. I think this is it. Let's find out. Yeah, smallest one. It's not really gonna, well, I guess you do want to hold it a little bit, because just going to get it where it starts to snug up. I didn't realize what you had to do to get it loose, and I just kept turning and turning them. I was like, what's going on with this thing? This one's a little looser than another one. I don't know really why they're... This one's more normal. Yeah. That one was just beginning to snug up. You don't want to overdo those. They're spring-loaded, so you don't want to overdo it. Well, that's it. They won't even move. I can't twist it anymore, so that's it. Pretty good, really. Those ones that you have to clip down are kind of generally aggravate me. They generally give me more problems. So that right there, I kind of like. Haven't seen a whole lot of them that you screw down. Well, the other ones I've seen, I think they were kind of hard to screw down. But anyway, that's different. And I like that. I'm gonna put my stuff back. Oh, I left the one that stays in there at the normal Phillips. Left it out. Okay, now I'll probably be needing that again in just a minute, so let's leave them out. I'm gonna move them off of the. Now those I'm gonna put them away unless I need them, because they're easier to get to down there than they would be up on the bed down there in my toolbox. Okay, that's enough close-up, I think, for now. Okay, so there it is. Let's turn it on again. Now let's plug in the hard drive too. See how loud it is now. And you really got to watch. Okay, well that doesn't go down low enough to get in the airflow. Well, that's good. Those IDE cables those, actually I had them on going towards this extra hard drive. There's a hard drive rack in there in the front that you can get to by just taking the front cover off. So I had them up in there. Okay, now, and that's all I had taken loose. Now I don't want to boot up, but that's all right, it won't hurt. See if that hard drive rattles a bunch. It's normal now. Feels to me like the air's going that way. It's pulling instead of pushing, in other words, which actually makes sense. Pull the cooler air across the, lots of open space in the back of the case, so it can pull cooler air across those, across the CPU and across the, make sure it forces it across those caps. Yeah, it's booting up. See, this is, it's a server. It'll boot up and serve without logging in. I can tell by the way, you know, that the hard drive's being read. I've heard it boot up enough times over the last several years. So, but I'm going to have to just hard shut it down unless I want to plug a monitor into it and all that, and I'm not going to bother with that right now. Now that's fine. I mean, it's not even making any extra noise. That hard drive's always been, it sounds more grindy than it used to, I think. But it's never been a real quiet hard drive. It's a Maxter 80 gig. It's lasted many years. I bought it new when I built my first PC kit, a Pentium 4, back in, I don't remember what year, about 02 or something like that. I like to wait till it's booted up before I shut it down instead of shutting it down in the middle of boot up, but you can't really tell without looking at it. And the power supply is fine. It's quiet and everything. Well, let's see. I do want to see how loud it's going to be right now. I mean, I could have made an improvement by lubricating the fan. I didn't think I did. But it's not really loud now. I mean, it's not, sounds about like it should. Let me see if you can tell. I think it's done booting up now. Here's closer to the fan. Back of the heatsink. And the hard drive's right there too, so. That's okay. That's the way it's pretty much always sounded. If it would stay like that, I could use it like that. But I won't know. And I've got my spot where it was setting full of all the stuff that was on this table and all the stuff that was on top of this machine. I have to clean all that out, but I don't think I want to put it, I'm not going to put it back right now. I'm going to shut it down. Capacitor sure is crooked there. Bend it and might break something, so I ain't going to mess with it. So, everything's back to normal. Unplug it. I'm going to get this other one, the one that I'm considering replacing this one with. See how loud it sounds sitting up here on the bench. I had it in the garage and turned it on. It was sitting up on the desk out there. And it was hard for me to get to where I could hear it good. And well, it was so hot I had the fan on. I had to turn the fan on to listen to it, but I didn't really want to sit there and listen to it for a long time. So, I think I'm starting to get hungry again. I think it must be supper time. Yeah, it's 9:30. It's about supper time. Okay. I got up so late. Now, normally I'd eat supper about 6 the last week, week or two, but well, this one's heavier than the other one. Okay. Get you all. Yeah, this is a lot lighter. Now this one I call it the Smiley Gateway. Let me turn it where you can see why. Look at that. It's smiling at you. And it's the 2.8 gigahertz. I was thinking it was the 1.7 gigahertz, but evidently there's an HP out there that actually needs work. The actual plug to the power supply is broke. It works fine, but the plug got banged into or something and broke. So it's needs work. Let's see, which way is the way that I want to open it? Oh, this way. There's a handle on there. So I'm going to open it up. Oh, it's got little screws on the back. I'm going to open it up, and I like those too. Those are always handy. Let's see. There we go. Go ahead and move this IBM out of the way for now. Yeah. It was over in front of my dresser. Okay, so this one's got a 30 gig hard drive and a DVD drive. I don't know if it's rewritable. Doesn't really matter. Probably not at the age of this. And it's got the same size of fan and everything on it. Of course, it's a clip down, whole different clip down setup. It has the caps right by it, but it doesn't have a case fan either like the other one. I could put that one in it, I guess. Well, it seemed noisy, so I don't think I would. I know it's an IDE hard drive like the other one, and it's only got 2 memory slots. If I was going to use it, and it's got, I know because I had it running, it only has 512 megabyte of RAM. Well, I got 2 gig in that other one. What I'd have to do then, I'd have to look up the motherboard. Oh man, my fingers always do that. Sharp pains right when you move. I do it everywhere, from head to toe. Anyway, oh, it's got one of those nice looking wrapped power supplies. Let's see what that has in it. Thought maybe I could put that over there over it, but I guess I can just I'll have to probably pick it up and do it. Oh, there we go. It is the right direction, pretty much. I think I'm gonna have to go from here though to get to be able to aim at it. It's upside down now, so I figured. All that light's reflecting on it too. Getting hung up. So I guess if I do it a little more like that. Still can't read it. You might be able to, but I can't see good enough to read it. It's crooked, but it's... Is that right side up? No. It gets so confusing to me. Right, which way's right side up and which way's upside down when I start. Oh, and when I turn my tripod, it doesn't turn the cable. So it fights me. I thought it would help me read this thing. There we go. Now it's right side up for a change, but I really got it in a bind. Looks like it could be red, but it's too small for me to read it. Okay, so anyway, that was a valiant effort. I'm going to get off of that and use my magnifying glass. I used to go to great efforts to try to get that working, and it just ends up making a long bunch of me spinning that thing around in my video. So. Okay, output is max 200, oh 300, 200. I don't know which rail it's talking about, but maximum is 330 total. Yeah. 350, well they call it total 350. But it seems to me that, well I guess it's, so you'll call it a 350 watt. It says, yeah, model LC B350 ATX. So, you know, that's not too bad of a power supply. 350 is okay for, especially for a Celeron, you know. And some of the newer processors could run okay on that, like that 2 gigahertz dual core AMD, the one that was in that E-Machines that I used for a while on the AS Rock motherboard was had a 200 250 watt power supply, but it is also about to die. It was underpowered and bad caps. So take your pick of which one made it fail first. So, has a modem in it, and onboard NIC, and VGA onboard, no video card. I think that one was on board too. It doesn't matter for the server. Anyway, it's only 512 megabyte of RAM, and I forgot my RAM's up on the shelf in the garage, but it's only got 2 sticks. So what I need then, if I want to use it, the RAM that's in the IBM, I can put it in here unless it won't work on this board. It's one of the faster of that age. I'm sure this is just regular DDR RAM, and of that type of RAM, it's one of the faster ones that machine would use. And so I got that for it. I had 3 machines. So I got 2 gig for all $10 a stick, or there right around that. I filled them all up to their max. They all did. Would only, you know, the max they do is 2 gig, and that was before I got any of these machines. That was a few years ago now, and sure makes a lot of difference. And you can do a lot more with one of these when they're maxed out on RAM. We always wanted to do it way back in the day, but it cost so much back then. So that's enough to, but 512 megabytes, so it's 256 sticks evidently, because I ran part of Magic on it, and out in the garage, and I noticed you could hear it, but it didn't sound like it was making any bad noises or anything. So I'm going to plug it in. The operating system doesn't work. I'm trying to think, do I need, well, I want to hear it right here, and then I'm going to have to clear out where I'm going to be. I don't want to set it up in there unless I think I'm really going to use it, you know. So let's plug it in here, see how loud it is. Mess around with it. I think I'll put my little, see what, yeah, my little easy to boot stick in there, and I think I'll put it in the back. Yeah, it won't be likely to hit stuff. And I won't be able, of course, see the selector do anything. I'm not even going to have a mouse or keyboard in it. But well, let's see if it'll turn on. Yep. I couldn't remember if the switch was on or off, but it's on. So, yeah, the fans are good. They're not making noises and stuff. Yeah, it's not really all that loud. It just has a normal... I blew it out real good. Well, no, I didn't blow this one out recently. I did it a long time ago. So it's probably got some loose dust in it. It's just been sitting in the garage because the hard drive, the operating system, the hard drive had the operating system. Probably the partitions were lost. It wasn't showing up, and I did format it the other day with FAT32, and it took a format just fine. And I tested the hard drive. I tested it with the hard drive testing program, and it's all right. It's just old age, you know, like any of them do when they're like 3 years older and not after. But they usually most of them keep running for 10, 15 more years, you know. And yeah. So I'll go ahead and get my little mic after it here. Okay, here's the power supply. I think it's pretty quiet. Here's the CPU. And that's the only 2 fans that are in it. The hard drive's not making a peak. Of course, there's really not anything to be read on it, so. Just FAT32, no operating system or nothing. So if you boot it up on a monitor, you'd just see like no operating system detected, black screen with a little cursor on it. I think I'm going to look into the motherboard and see. I'm just going to let it run, see if it begins to make noise or anything. I need to find the model number of the motherboard. I'm going to try putting this camera up here again. I'll just let it run and put it up there. I see a sticker right there. I can get the camera to aim at the sticker. Now my preview's gone to sleep. I should probably check my preview. It's been paused for a very long time. But I'm going to also get the endoscope working here, and I want to stick it into that fan. Let's see. There's my plan so far, is to do it like that. Said I don't want to get it into the fan. There. Now, let's see what we got. I can see the sticker. The light just makes things worse. It's actually pretty bright in there, isn't it? Now, as far as getting it turned where it's right side up, I don't know. I'm gonna get on to the big preview and see if I can read that, because I want to get on Google and look it up. So I want to do. This is a gateway, so it's not like you can just look it up as a Zeus or whatever, you know. Let's see. It's blurry. I'm not quite close enough. I'm not sure if that's the right sticker either. I don't think it is. Just a bunch of numbers. Intel motherboard, I see that. Let me get my magnifying glass after it. Maybe some big letters that I can actually see if I try to get a little closer, maybe. Yeah, now they look like they'd be clear. So maybe it can be seen by the video watcher anyway. And I'm looking right in there. If that helps or hurts. I think it hurts for the camera. I don't see. I guess I'm going to have to look up the machine. Well, since it's a branded machine, I should just be able to look up the model number. It should be here on the machine somewhere. Sometimes that doesn't work, though. Sometimes it's better to know the motherboard, even on a branded machine like this. If you're looking at one that's, you know, custom built from a kit or whatever, then you really need to just look at the motherboard. Those numbers might be the motherboard numbers. They might be. But I think I'm going to have to go. I hear the fan more now. It probably warrants. It probably warrants being taken off and the CPU. I might have done that, but I might not have. A lot of times when I first get a machine, I'll take the CPU cooler off and check the paste, you know. But that's the fan there. It's beginning to make some noise now. Yeah, it's just kind of like it's vibrating a little bit. I can feel it. Quite a bit, really. And that's what I'm hearing. Could be a problem. Let's see. Well, since I'm going to have to look at it, I'm going to shut it down. There was one that had a, this is it. What's wrong with this picture? CPU fan got us, a blade broke out of it. This is the one. And it's the same size as that other one. I already put it back on the machine. Dang it. So, so I'm back to, this is a 3-pin, just like the other ones. But I'm back to the same problem, CPU fan problem. And this one here is so big that's so I can get that. Yeah, this one here even, and it's probably not as loud. Well, it may not be going to run good enough. It may be too old to spin the right speeds. That cooler's not big enough to put that on there. See, a lot of them, well, this is one of them, I think. Well, no, I think it has places that are threaded. Yeah, it does, in the aluminum. A lot of them, they screw straight in. The screws just go in between the fins. So you could put them on if they're a little bit different size. This is not one of those. So, I kept forgetting to check that. I could think about it when I was trying to, you know, when I was going to sleep or waking up or something. I never thought about it at the right time when I could look at it. So, I remember that whenever I got it and I blew it out and cleaned it up. I remember it was rattling and making horrible noise. I think it was, oh, it was in there. It was broken, still in there, and I, you know, broke it the rest of the way and took it out because I knew you couldn't repair it. So it's just going to rattle and vibrate and make noise. I don't guess taking, well, actually the fan, yeah, there's no point in taking the cooler off right now. I guess I'll unplug the machine. Now all that, trying to, you know, figure out if I can swap the memory and all that really doesn't matter because I can't use it like that. And those other fans I have, those new ones, are too big. Well, they're 4 pins and they're bigger, I think. I might have had one that was about, they're smaller, no, I think they're 80mm fans. I think they're that size. No, there might have been, I don't remember now. Anyway, even if I have one the right size, they're 4 pins, and that's just, I don't know. I mean, I did see, by accident, I saw 3-4 pin adapter on Amazon, so I suppose if that can be bought, then I could probably make one with, you know, just get this and wire it to the correct wires. Cut one of these off and wire it to the correct wires to the new fan, and I'd be fine, I guess. I'm sure I would. I just have to make sure I figured it out right. But that is an option. This one works, but of course the other, I was thinking, well, maybe I could put the other fan off the IBM on here, but what's the point in doing that? I might as well use the IBM and just, if I'm going to use that fan, I can use the IBM and then get a hard, well, I've got another 30 gig hard drive. I wouldn't even take this one out. I'll get the one that's on the shelf already out, put it in there. And I've got a 250 gig and a 200, I think I have a, yeah, 250 gig. Well, I'm not going to use that. That's Mom's old hard drive. I'm not going to reformat it. I will, but not until after I don't need any of that data. But I have a 200 gig that I could put in there. But I really don't want that big a hard drive in my server because I don't like storing personal files on it. But I have been doing it on that 80 gig because not really some of my phone, I backed up my, when I first got my Android phones, I didn't really have any room. I didn't have this big backup drive. I put my APK backups on there, the application backups on there, and then I started backing up my blog from, and I started doing it on the server, actually just letting it do the backup because it could run for hours and hours because it's always on anyway. And that is all right, that's good. And it's about 10 gig of that. So if I want to keep doing that on there, I need more space than 30 gig. But doggone you, I kept forgetting to look at that. Kept thinking about it. I thought, I bet you that's the one. I haven't, let's see, what was the other machine? Oh, the one with the plug on the power supply. I don't know what kind of fan it has in it. I don't know if I opened it up the other day. I'm trying to figure out what would be the least amount of work. But this would be cool because it's a Celeron. It won't make a lot of heat just like the other one. The IBM's a Celeron, and it's a 2.8 gigahertz, and so that's a little bit, just, you know, from I think that was 2.5. It might be 2.4, but anyway, say 5, 6, 7, 8. That's enough to make a difference. You know, that's some more power. That's 300 more megahertz. So, And I've got a 350 megahertz out there in the garage that's running to Baines 5 or 6. It was, I think I set it up as a backup server originally, and I decided it wasn't able to handle it too well, so I put it on the 500 gigahertz. But then now I realize it was, I think the only problem was the router was dying out there, and I just didn't realize that's what it was. It kept losing, you know, not being able to connect, and I thought, well, the machine just can't keep up. Because it used to work really well. The Zonet router had worked for years really well. It would always, like on the laptops, the most they would do is 54 megabits, and that's what it would always give out, you know. And anyway, and it was 150 on the wireless, 150 megabits, what it would do. The Linksys is 50 more megabits, period, but it's 15 is the most, around 15 is what it's getting, 10 to 15. It's not working very well anymore either. And one of its wired ports has even died on it, so its days are numbered. So, very disappointing that I couldn't remember to check that until, well, I figured it out by running it, didn't I? Never did. I didn't look at it close enough to see. Foxconn. That's an actual Foxconn product right there. And that is from a long time ago. This is old. Gateways aren't even made anymore. How about that? Foxconn is that famous company in China where the people hated working there so bad they jumped off the roof to get out of there. I don't think they'd let them leave. I think what they were doing, I think I saw something that read or saw something. They entice those young people, the little country people that, you know, didn't have any opportunities to have a good job. Entice them to come there and work and promise them no telling what, and then they get them in there. They wouldn't even let them leave. They live there. They wouldn't let them leave, and evidently they made them work so long that, you know, they didn't care about living anymore. So many hours and not getting to leave. I mean, if you're a country person, I lived out in the woods for 9 years in my little acre and a half and a spring-fed creek on the back. If you're a country person, it's hell living in the city, much less in a building that you can't leave, you know. I just can't imagine how bad what a change that was for a young person in their 18, 19, 20, 25 years old. I mean, they were free. They were poor, but they were free, and then they got put in prison for a promise of a few yen, and, you know, they didn't pay them much either. That's why they don't pay. That's how come we can't compete, because we started paying back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, in our industrial revolution. They did the same thing. They worked children, and they were women, you know, all long hours and paid them nothing. And so then they made all the laws and started labor unions, and then we ended up making a decent living until the last 20 years now. Few do, and the other half don't, you know. So, anyway, don't know why. Oh, Foxconn, that's what got me off on that. And that's just the one that's famous for treating their people really bad. I don't know. That's the one that got on the news for a month there a couple of years ago. So, and I saw it. I never sit and watch the news, and I saw it every time I go in there and get me something to eat. The TV's on, I'd hear them. And finally went and looked it up, I think. Yeah, I did. I went and looked it up on YouTube. So that's how come I know a little bit more about it, or learned a little bit more about it. Of course, you're not there, you don't really know nothing about it. So, yeah, this one's pretty old dust smell. But I cleaned it out, and then it's been sitting in the garage for at least a year since I got it and blew it up. Maybe longer, maybe 2 years. And I haven't run it because I never had got back to him messing with them. Haven't ran it or done anything with it or blown it out again. Okay, so if that fan would not, I've already forgotten all I remember is I threw out of my mind using a 4-pin fan because I was thinking wouldn't actually be that hard. You're going to have probably the wiring colors is not they're always different, you know. They don't stick by any color code other than generally black is going to be ground and red's going to be power. Well, in computers, yellow is usually 12 volts and red is usually 5 volts. So actually, And this is a 12-volt fan, or the other one was, and this is, I'm sure that, well, I'm sure it is. The other motherboard had a 12-volt fan on it, and unless they were running a 12-volt fan off of 5 volts, I'd have to test it out to see. So if I tested out those pins and see what the voltages are, the one that, like the yellow one's 12 volts, black one should be ground, and the red one would be the speed control. So it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 5 volts probably. Intermittently. Maybe could even be low. I don't know. I've never tried to check. I'm just guessing. It could be it could be below 2 volts. It's just to to tell it what to do, to speed it up, slow it down. What it may do is it could run on, say, 5 volts. And then when it wanted to speed it up, turn on the motherboard would turn on the 12 volt to speed it up. So it could run on 5 on the red and 12 on the yellow. It could just be, it's probably not that sophisticated as far as like an actual motor control, speed control. It's probably like 5 volts for low speed, 12 volts for higher speed. I would give that a pretty good guess. I'd have to find out. My test leads are actually pretty hard to, they're really short. That's good in one way, you don't short out things on the side of them, but it's hard to hit things. And without anything plugged into it, I don't know if it sends, like if I turn it on with nothing plugged into it, I guess it'd be sending out power. I guess I'll just have to try and see. So then what? Well, still I have to see if one of those blades, one of those fans that's actually CPU fans, I have 3 of them I think now, would actually fit on one of these or that cooler. Well, either one of them I guess, but yeah, this one looks like it has machined corners. I don't think it's just screwed into, yeah, there's metal in there. So it's not screwed in between the fins like they do sometimes. There's metal right there. If you can, yeah, you can see that, I think. In between that broken, see there, all that metal right there? In between the, so down here on the corners, I'm sure it's actually tapped and threaded. So, so it's got the screw holes are going to have to match up, and it's smaller. The whole thing is smaller than those other fans. There's not really enough room to put. I don't see how, without making it some sort of fancy custom mount, that I don't even, how you could mount. It'd be great to have a bigger cooler on there, but I don't know how. If there's probably not enough room. And all these caps are in the way here, and this other motherboard has the same thing. The caps were lined up like that, so you can't. If you did put a bigger one, it would have to slide over this way, and there is some room, but not a whole lot between here and the memory. The other one was really tight, and the plug's right there, so you don't have room to do that. You'd be doing custom fabrication to make one of those other ones fit. I kind of thought about that with the IBM. I want to get this one working now, whether I use it as my server or not, because now I realize, hey, this is a pretty good machine. But about the best thing these machines are good for, though, is, well, you can use them as a desktop. They're really good. My Pentium 4, I used it to record audio a month or so ago, because it has a good sound card. Didn't make didn't record any noise, and why did I use it? I think because I needed to use a different machine besides the main one I was using. But oh, I didn't have room. I didn't have room to record the audio. I was recording a cassette tape, digitizing a cassette tape for Jeff, the guy that gave me these computers. So I didn't have room on my Lenovo i5 at the time. Now I do. So I know I'm just talking, but I'm trying to figure all this out. And I'm really getting hungry, so I'm not going to do it right now. I just want to figure out what I'm going to do. What time is it? It's almost 10 already, but I got up so late. I got to eat supper. No doubt about that. So let's get off of this close-up view. And I'm just sitting there spinning that fan and talking. It's so interesting. Okay. Get you out of there. Put your lid back on you. I need to put a note on it. I need the CPU fan. Oh, those things, I should just break or cut that off of there. Every machine I've ever seen that has that little locking thing, you'll hurt yourself every 5 minutes. And they're really pretty tough, so you can't just bend them over. You could, but you can't with your fingers without hurting yourself. You have to hit it with a hammer. I mean, it is kind of a good thing to have. You can put a padlock on there where nobody can get in it. But, of course, I'm not worried about that. I always thought that once I learned you could turn these into good servers, I always kept thought that, well, I might turn some into servers and try to sell them, but, you know, the size and the shipping would be about as much as the thing might be worth, I think, from what I gather, you know. And anybody that needs a real server really ought to get a real server, you know. They have so much I guess you'd say software security in them and everything, you know. I'm learning more about them. Well, I never knew a whole lot about them. I'm beginning to learn. Last year here, I've been almost, I don't know, 8 months. I've been watching all these videos by this guy named Morton, and he's Dutch, but he speaks English really well. And yeah, Dutch, yeah. He lives in Deutschland. And he's a server admin guy, and he loves to make videos about it. And he has taught me so much, and everybody that watches. So now I know I want to get into servers. For one thing, I always was interested, and so I did it with desktops because, well, I mean, you can get old servers cheap, and that's the whole thing. I knew that, but they didn't have enough video memory in them to use as a desktop. But now some of the ones that are old now, they actually can take video cards, and so that changes everything. And well, what am I trying to say? Well, one thing is you can just virtualize all your operating systems, and the RAM will be your video card, you know. And since I don't game or anything, I don't think that'd be a problem for me. If you have lots of RAM, you got, like if you had, I mean, I was thinking 32 or 64 gig would be good, but heck, you really ought to just get like 128 gig or whatever. I mean, well, it depends. But anyway, but the thing is, you can't really run a server in your bedroom. It'll heat you up, and the noise will drive you insane. That's the only reason I haven't done it. But okay, so you might get by. I might get by with this fan. Only way I can tell is plug it in and let it run. But I think I'm going to have to change this hard drive. And that means I'm going to have to, I'll just go ahead and go to Fedora 28. I've been planning on it, but I wasn't going to do it right now. You know, I was going to get everything else finished. Mine's finished now, basically. I mean, I've got enough of it done. It's just it'll take lots more tweaking and adding more apps here and there. But I can do that over time. And Mom's is what I want to get done next, is what I want to get to. But yeah, this one has 2 gig of RAM, DDR, and 80 gig hard drive right now, but I have to get it plugged in into the monitor and let it run a long time to tell if the hard drive is going to keep. I can plug it in and just let it run and see if that hard drive starts making a lot of noise. Yeah, it won't overheat now because I got all this on here like it should be. I knew there's a reason why I was picking it up and setting it back on here. I just didn't know what it was. So this one I'm going to let it run while I'm eating supper. And if that hard drive gets to rattling while I'm eating, then I'll change the hard drive out and hope that this fan will not get to go. I don't think it's going to go out right now, but it might start making noise again. So let me do that. So if I don't get to after supper, if I don't feel too tired and everything, then maybe I think I'll put the lid on it. It's going to be, with the lid, I guess I could stand it up like normal. That's what I'll do. I'll put the lid on it, stand it up like it's normally would be, and I'll be able to tell if it makes noise, but there's no sense in me listening to listening to every little, listening to it up close and personal, because when they're sitting on this table, that's up close and personal. It's rattling. I think that table resonates noise more than this desk does. Probably because there's nothing really else on it. Yeah, it's a lot louder than everything when it... Yeah, I can hear that hard drive. Well, of course, it's still booting up. I don't have it plugged into the monitor, but you can probably hear it. And that's pretty much on hard drive. I mean, it's hard to tell between the hard drive and the... But up here, the power supply is good. It's not loud. Back here in the back, where 80 millimeter fan would go, there is none. It doesn't need it. It doesn't get hot the way it is. It wasn't getting hot that I know of, even though it was making noise. Yeah, let's see if it starts really grinding while I'm eating the supper and all that stuff. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll go ahead and put it back in its spot. But the hard drive seems like it's okay. The thing is, they'll do that. They'll be fine for several hours, and then all of a sudden, wow. So I don't want to put it back in there until I feel like it's really ready to be back in there, because it's not easy to get it in and out of that corner over there. Over here to the right of my monitor, it's where it's been sitting for years, and so yeah, it's not easy to get in and out of there, but that's where all the cables for it and everything are. So whatever I use, that's where I'll put it, and I can just plug it up like normal and then install whatever operating system I'm going to on it. If I'm going to leave that hard drive in it, then I'll just plug it back in and use it until I get done with all these other machines, and then upgrade it like I had originally planned. But I don't normally see real good results from, cleaning. All I did was spray it with Rust Buster. I didn't take it apart, but either way, if you just spray them with WD-40, that lasts a week or two. Rust Buster, I thought might actually clean it better and last longer. It is a way better penetrating oil than, WD-40 is a cleaner, but it's a lightweight cleaner. And now it's quiet. Very quiet. That's normal. Yep, now it's normal. I'll let it run and see what happens. Maybe I will just have discovered that Rust Buster will make those fans work again. We'll see. But anyway, it could run a few days or a week or two and start making noise, lots of noise again. Typically what happens when you just spray a fan with, or even take one apart and clean it up with WD-40, sometimes they'll go a good long time, before they act up again, 6 months or a year, but usually you only get a couple of weeks before they make noise again. So anyway, I'm going to go eat some supper, and maybe I'll be back tonight, or if not, then it'll be tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.